Hi everyone, and welcome to the next video in our interview series at Northern Hills Synagogue. My name is Rabbi Sam Schapera, and I'm the program director here. And I'm really excited to have with us today Idit Moss, who is our new Director of Education. Idit, thank you so much for meeting with me.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
So for those So many people in the community actually know you as their children's teacher or as their teacher from Rockwern, but they may not know about you as a person. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how you got to Cincinnati?
Sure. Well, hello, everyone. Thanks for having me again. I grew up in Israel, in a small city, Rehovot, which is near Tel Aviv. I went to school there, have one brother, had wonderful childhood, went to high school in Israel, and then right after high school, like everybody else, I went to the army. I served 2 years in the Ministry of Defense in Israel, and I worked with computers. It was in my hometown. I did not do like such a really serious army service like others might be, but it was good. I felt like I gave a lot to my country. After the army service, a lot of the people who finish like army service in Israel want to go away for a little bit. Some of them do like adventure kind of trips for a year, and then they want to come back and start school in Israel. Well, I wanted to do something similar too. But I always knew that I'm good with kids and I love children, and I wanted to experience life in different place just for a year, and then come back and probably go to school in Israel. And how I ended up in Cincinnati was a nice story too, because I thought to myself that if I'm so good with children, and a good experience for me will be to be an au pair, a live-in nanny for a year, and then return to Israel. So I looked at the newspaper, and there were like, I remember there were like three families that advertised at that time that they were looking for a nanny. And two of them were in Europe, and one of them was in Cincinnati. And I sent the same letter, we're talking at the time when we didn't have email yet, sent the same letter to all three families, and really didn't think that something will come out of it. Just, I did it for the adventures. I was 20, sounds something like, like a dream. Um, I was very surprised that I received a phone call back, and the family from Cincinnati, they were both doctors from Chicago who moved to Cincinnati for a few years, and we talked, and it was a great match. And I think 2 or 3 months after that, I was already on my plane to Cincinnati, still thinking I'm only going for like a 1 year experience. I had a great time with this family. They welcomed me like one of their own. During the time that I was here, being an au pair, I met a guy at the JCC who after that became my husband. And we have two wonderful children together. We are divorced now. We're good friends though. And and I'm here. I'm still here. The 1 year turned out to be a lifelong staying in Cincinnati, which I love. I love the city, and this is my home here. When when I was pregnant with my daughter, I started going to college here. I went to UC, and I got my degree in elementary education. And after that, I went back to school and again got my master's degree in educational administration. Through all the time when I was at school, I already started working at Yavne Day School. It was called Yavne Day School. Now it's Rockhorn Academy. And started as a teacher assistant while I was still getting my degree, and then teaching first through eighth grade classes. I'm still at Rockhorn. Still have my work at Rockhorn and very connected to the Rockhorn family and the children. But I wanted to do something else too. I felt like I have such a creative mind and initiative mind, and I heard that Northern Hills is looking for a director of education, and I thought it could be a great fit for me. And luckily, I got the job, so I'm very happy now to be part of the Northern Hills family as well.
We are so excited that you're part of our family too. Thank you for taking the initiative and applying for the job. So you talked about how you came to Cincinnati, you created this life unintentionally, and then you went into to school for education. But it sounds like education and working with children is something that you had a passion for even when you were in Israel. Can you talk a little bit about how you became interested and introduced to become an educator?
Absolutely. I always knew that I'm going to do something with children. I felt like everybody in Israel when I was young say that kids are like magnet to me. They always like come and being attached to me. But I did not know that I was going to be a teacher. I actually thought I was going to be a social worker and help children in need for the longest time. When I grew up in Israel, across the street from where I lived was a home for children who came from broken families. And I used to volunteer there. Remember, when I was 14, 15, 16, all the way until I went to the army, really. I volunteered in that home for children. So after school, I would go there and play with the children, take them out to the park, return them. It was, if not every day, close to every day after school. I would come home, do my homework quickly so I can go there in the afternoon. And I have one child. She's not a child anymore. I'm still in touch with her. My family is still in touch with her, and I am. Yeah, she's still part of my life. But working there, volunteering there at the children's home, I saw the hard work of the social workers there. I saw how much they are helping the kids and want to make sure they have better life. And I felt like this is my mission in life. This is what I want to do. However, when I came to Cincinnati, I became a teacher assistant at Yavne, like I said before. And then while I was teacher assistant, I loved my job. I felt like, this is like a different kind of mission that I'm educating the children of America about our Judaism, about our Israel, about our values. And that was so important for me, and I loved it. And then I decided I want to become a teacher. So it's kind of like I did my teaching job as an assistant and then figured out, yes, I love it. This is where my passion is. And I went to learn to study education. So yes, so back to your question, I always knew I was going to be working with kids. I just did not know exactly what.
It's amazing how many times that you've shared in just a few minutes that you've unintentionally been in the right place at the right time for you to discover what your passions are.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I feel like I was very lucky to experience this and then know that this is what I want. A lot of times, children, they go to college and they study and spend all the money and education, and then this is not really where my passion is. So I'm glad that I had the opportunity to do things a little bit backwards.
Well, speaking of your passion, we know that education is both a passion and a career for you, but can you share with us some of your hobbies, your non-career passions and hobbies?
Yes, well, first of all, I love to spend time with my family and my friends. Now that my two children, Karen and Daniel, are older, it's uh, it's harder. I find that it's harder to find time to spend with them. So time spent with my family is a treasure, and this is the first thing that on my list. I love reading books, and I also love Israeli dancing. And this is a passion that started when I was still living in Israel. I used to, I was a part of a performing dance group for our city. And besides that, I also went a lot of times to just like a club for doing Israeli dancing 2, 3 times a week. This hobby is still strong for me here in Cincinnati, and I can't say I go every Tuesday to dance, but I wish for that. And so yes, definitely Israeli folk dancing is my hobby.
We're also excited to share in your passion with Israeli dancing once we're able to, officially get back together in person. Um, and with that, with coming back together to Northern Hills and to being in person, um, you haven't had a chance yet to be, with the entire community because we've been in isolation this whole time. But I'm wondering what you are excited about as being part of Northern Hills, both as the director of education, but also as a member of our community.
Yes, absolutely. This is a more challenging year to start my job at Northern Hills as director, because my first initial is to bring the families in, bring the children, have some kind of like a gathering and reunion. Excuse me. And unfortunately, we cannot do it right now. But I am looking forward to connect with the families, connect with the children. I'm looking forward to be part of the family, and I'm looking forward to grow this school, build a strong preschool foundation to our school, and and be safe. Right now, it's safety is number one issue. Um, Although I would love to have the kids and families in the synagogue, we have to make sure that our safety is considered first. So a lot of things that I'm looking forward.
Well, us too, and we're really looking forward to meeting you in person. So Idit, thank you so much for joining us on this next part of our interview series. If you, looking to the viewers, if you would like to contact Idit, I'm going to put her contact information right above her head. And if you would like to contact me, I'm going to put my contact information up here. And if you're interested in joining our interview series, please give me an email or a phone call. Idit, thank you again for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, and we'll see you later.
Bye, everyone.